pretty big to me. Looks pretty big to me. He's walking through there somewhere. Oh, it's John Barrowman. I just saw him.
I'm telling you, these folks have been rabid for y'all. They are so excited that you're here.
Wow, I've got to say it right off the bat that it's probably a good thing that Jason, unfortunately, obviously it's unfortunate that he couldn't make it, but I don't know how we would have fit him on this love seat.
Absolutely not, no. He would have probably just laid across both of us.
That's actually a very pleasant experience. His arm had swollen to about 5 times its normal size. Slightly traumatic, but I'm happy to be back nonetheless.
Wait, hold on. He got bit in Columbus and you drove to Cleveland?
Well, yeah, at first it wasn't that bad, you know? It just seemed like, he was like, guys, this kind of hurts, you know? It was one of those. And then you're like, oh, you're fine. Then, you know, by the time you get to Cleveland, you're like, no, we need to go to an emergency room.
Everything's swollen now.
Yeah, this is really bad.
Walking on walls, he's spitting webs.
He was fine, by the way. Still has,
Still has his arm?
The arm, no remaining wound, everything worked out. Thank you, Cleveland.
Thank you, Cleveland Hospital.
And nurses and stuff, you know? I kind of like him with a mustache. I'm just saying there was something very iconic about it in a whole new way.
And I don't think, Henry Cavill's Henry Cavill. Mustache, no mustache. You can't make the man look bad, you know? So,
that's literally why all three of us have mustaches right now.
I'm working on it, man.
Hello.
What?
He's like, work it.
Work it. Oh, you guys stop it.
Hello.
I have a question for both of you. How did you get into acting?
Thank you. I actually got into acting when I was in high school. I had a high school English teacher who was the director of the musicals, and
this show called Royal Pains, which was about a concierge doctor in the Hamptons, right? And a lot of times we would joke on set about like, this is ridiculous, you know what I mean? Oh, another person gets wounded or sick, and he's like, I need 2 Ziploc bags and some ice and duct tape. And you're like, come on, that's not what would really happen. So one day they're moving one of these fancy cars, right? Rip partially chops off her finger, right? And all of a sudden we have this on-set doctor consultant, who's the consultant who tells them like what these operations would maybe look like. And to all of our disbelief, he's like, I need 2 Ziploc bags, I need some ice, and I need some duct tape. And we were like, no way. And he did it, and he saved her finger, and it was amazing. It was an amazing thing to witness and see. So yeah, I'm always in awe of medical professionals. You guys are the greatest.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank goodness
You're welcome.
for you. Yeah.
My injuries would come from like the training side of things. You know, we get banged up in there, and training with Ezra and Jason, and people who are just going full tilt on this thing. Yeah, you get nicked up in there, but there are people that make sure you stay put together until we're finished shooting, and then you go home and fall apart.
Nice. Thank you.
Actually, Ezra, your mic keeps cutting out. I'll trade you.
And I think, well, not I think, I know it's because of, being able to work with Ezra and Jason and Zack Snyder and Chris Terrio and the people that have, put all their passion and their love, Gal, Ben, the whole crew who was a part of making that thing come to life. It's an experience I will absolutely never forget.
Yeah, we were lucky to be a part of that one.
We were lucky to have you as well. So.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hello, welcome to Cleveland.
So what I want to know is if you could go to a con that was for your fandom, what would it be and what would you go as?
That's a deep question.
All the furniture would be made of slinkies. And everything would constantly be revolving, so everyone would be very dizzy all the time.
I think I'd have to go to like a complete Yu-Gi-Oh convention. It would be like full-on dual monsters everywhere. Yeah.
Now, I mean, because you're
Ray likes Yu-Gi-Oh, I like Slinkies, the things that spin, you know? Everyone has different tastes.
But Ezra, you're good for cosplaying at shows. Because I saw you in San Diego.
I'm good for that, yes.
And you were like full-blown regalia. You came out on stage and it was amazing. And so I obviously would have expected you to say something a little bit more animated, not so slinky. That was...
It's going to be a version of your Flash. It's going to be kind of like a series on YouTube. I just want to know what defines your character, because I'm trying to play the Flash. So I was just wondering, like, what's the heart of Barry Allen, of your version of Barry, and Cyborg as well, because I'm trying to have him make a cameo.
Okay. Sort of a weird answer, but I would say humility. That's my center point for Barry. Is like, you know, a lot of cocky superheroes out there. It's natural. It's natural. Look, it's a natural side product of
When you have those
having
powers,
superpowers.
Right.
But yeah, I was interested in Barry's like admiration of others and his like sort of a journey from a place of really sort of having low self-esteem to a place of embracing that in oneself as a way that you sort of can get out of your own way and allow, you know, the Speed Force to run through you.
Yeah, because like I said, I used to be like 240 pounds, and like the Flash was like a big part of like, I used to run like every day, and I used to listen to like the 1990s version of the Flash theme song.
Yeah.
As like motivation.
Yeah.
Excellent,
That's
man.
so cool.
Great
Good
work,
for you.
brother.
And you rule. And that's like what this stuff is really all about, right? Is like that sort of aspirational imagery. I'm great at talking.
You truly are, though. You actually are. That was just one flow. You had one flow.
That can do that for someone. That's awesome. You're amazing. You're an actual superhero.
Thank you, you are too.
I'm gonna watch your YouTube series. And
Thank you. I'll let
it's
you
gonna
know.
be a lot better than my version, and I'm gonna be like,
No.
dang it.
Shouldn't have gave him the tricks, the secrets.
Yeah.
For Cyborg on that end, I think the heart of the character is resilience. His resilience, him being able to take the circumstance that he's currently in, which is one that is seemingly not very admirable, and that he's had his body taken away from him. He's lost his mother. He's lost, you know, all these things that he holds dear. But he's able to pick himself back up and do. No, who said no? She said no. No. She's like, no, it's more than that. Please tell me. That's fine. Cyborg doesn't know. But he's able to pick himself back up and rebuild the world around him. Very much like Barry, he has self-esteem issues for a different reason. You know, he goes from having seemingly everything in front, his whole life ahead of him. He's super smart. He's a great athlete. He can go on and join professional sports if he wanted to, but everything's taken away in one fell swoop. So it's like, well, what do you do when your whole world has shifted? What do you do when everything seems to turn itself upside down? And are you able to adapt and adjust and be resilient to that new life? I think that's something that we as human beings, we find that out and we live that time and time and time again. I mean, I can count 4 or 5 instances where my life has completely turned on itself. I've had really good things happen to me, followed by really terrible things. And it seems like the terrible just seems to be the worst of the worst. But then you're able to sort of build yourself back up from that place. So I think that, to me, was the heart of the character, and is the heart of the character.
Okay. Thank you guys. You guys
Thank
are
you.
awesome. Comes out in 2020. So, yeah.
Green Ninjas, which are some of our tech people, some of our fight people who are in these green suits so they can paint them out later. And they've got Jason by the legs, and then the other person has me on the harness. And it actually looks really ridiculous. Like, I don't know how we got through it. And they go, action. And so the green guys on Jason's legs go, and they throw him. And he does like a full spin, and I'm supposed to catch him by the arm like this, right? And we tried a couple different lines with it, one of which was, "You're welcome," which is more of a smart-ass line to say. But honestly, I think that might have been my last day of shooting. Now that I think about it, and it was fun. It was extremely fun. I mean, it was one of those things where because I couldn't see anything out of this eye, like trying to gauge where he was at while twirling. So we had a couple flubs on my end, but once I got him under the armor armpit, we were good to go.
One last question. Both of you being in the Batcave, what was that like?
Oh, go. Go.
Oh my gosh. This is so good. One of the greatest experiences of my life, honestly. I will never forget it. We got to be in a couple different versions. I mean, not to brag, I don't mean to brag, Ray.
Brag away. Go for it. That's what we're here for.
So the Batcave was its fullest when I did like my day of work on BBS. And it was just stunning. I mean, it was so incredible. Like these floating staircases, they actually had running water. They had like all of the vehicles in the, like it was really, really full and complete. When we were working on it, like the hangar was really complete.
Yeah.
And then the Batcave we sort of made in pieces. But oh my gosh, it's just so cool. I mean, it's such an amazing thing. Those like, you know, those set decorators, they're the ones you should really be after.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just so amazing. I mean, you know, back at my hotel right now, I have some of the things I stole from the Batcave. I take them out, I just look at them. They make me feel really happy every time. It's the most reliable form of medicine I've found in my life is stuff that you steal from the Batcave. It was great. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But I won't.
For me, it was actually during BBS as well. Like it's good the second time, but it's never as good as the first time. Well, I actually saw, this is where I geeked out, I saw Bruce Wayne's workout room when he's training to fight Superman in BVS, and he's like he's pulling the chains, and he's got the sled, and he's doing all the CrossFit stuff. Debbie Snyder, Zach's wife and producing partner, was showing me around all the different sets, and they were just like starting to sculpt, I think, the Batcave at that point, so I didn't get to see it full on. I saw some of the walls, but they had running water they had the running water and all the weights, and I was like, oh, well, these must be prop weights, right? Oh, who's gonna lift this 185-pound dumbbell? Well, whatever. And I go over there, and Debbie's like, you might want to be careful. I'm pretty sure that's real. So at that point, I was like, well, was he really like benching this 185-pound dumbbell like nothing in this? But yeah, I mean, just the level of design, the level of of intricacy that they have in all of these sets. You'd be surprised what is actually practical and what is not. And hopefully in some of the behind the scenes footage in the DVD, you guys got a chance to admire it in the same way that we did.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Way out? Like, come on,
That's the best way to end it.
Booyah. I did it. I did it. I took it. I took it. I had to.
Well played.
Thank
That
you.
was just a perfect save. That's a perfect
Thank you. I've been waiting for someone to ask me that question.
Well,
You were talking to me, right?
I'll tell you what, how about we get one from the whole audience?
Hey,
How about that?
now there you go. That's how you end it.
On three. 1, 2, 3. Booyah! Thank you, Cleveland.
Cleveland, make some noise for these guys. Get up on your feet. Ezra Miller, Ray Fisher.
No, well, it's a different kind of boat.